Keep it simple. She can't get pregnant because of a hysterectomy. Oh, that's too bad. Well, I was hoping that she was at least castrated chemically, because I don't think some people should procreate. Especially if you're 43 and you choose not to learn how to read. Like, that's crazy. Oh, Jesus.
City manager's office, Ms. Garner speaking.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm trying to get in touch with the
I'm trying
mayor.
to get in touch with them. Oh, there. Here come the personalities.
Okay, and if you need the mayor, I need to transfer you to the her assistant's office. One moment, please.
Thank you. That's it.
I love that painting of Grace Jones. She's my idol.
May I
You
ask
can't
the
sit
purpose
with
of the
Grace
call?
Jones.
My name is Jaguar
That is
Wright.
not your name, honey.
Okay.
It's a name.
1 moment,
Okay.
please.
Okay. 1 month. You know they get nuts calling all day.
Grace Jones is so fierce.
They get nuts calling all day at the mayor's office. She
Oh,
ain't nothing new. They ready for her.
I love
No,
her.
she'll be 46 in May.
My Bond girl.
In order to send a tip to the DeSoto
No
Police Department,
hair and
send
don't
DeSoto
care and
and the tip
fabulous
to
Strange,
847
Look at that
baby.
dirty ass
411.
blanket.
Tips
Now,
can also be
help me
submitted
remember.
But
Wasn't this the blanket in the office on the Waffle House? When the phone was on the Waffle House thing, and she said that was the office, and then the next day she was like, "Y'all say I'm in my car, but it's hard to get a king size bed in the car," and that was the same blanket. And then when she was saying Percy or Perry, forgive me y'all for not knowing your names, but I try not to get into a lot of YouTube battles. So I don't know, like y'all be beefing with each other, so I don't be knowing y'all's names because that just is crazy to me. So I try to back up when y'all be beefing with each other. But I think it's Perry and Sherelle. Excuse me, when she said they were going down, she had that same blanket. But this is the same video where she said she's at a studio. Man, I'm 42. I know 4 years from now cannot look that bad. Mm-mm-mm.
just painting off a local
Y'all,
artist
this is covered by
yesterday.
fair use, y'all. Y'all see it. Y'all read it.
I told her my name. I said I'm Jaguar
Allowance
Wright.
is made for fair use
Listen,
for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research, bitch.
Thank you for calling the state secretary's office. This is Tasha.
Hey,
hello,
Tasha.
Tasha. How are you?
Hey, Tasha,
I'm good. How
girl.
about
You about
yourself?
to get some bullshit on your line,
Well, I'm
Tasha.
still a little sore from the beating I took on
Oh,
Monday,
God, girl. I thought you said you don't
but other
flinch.
than that, I'm
I thought you
blessed.
said you don't flinch. What
You
happened
know,
to
I
I
got a
don't
nasty
flinch?
shot to the ribs and they sprained my
What happened
wrist,
to I don't flinch?
and I got bruises on my arm.
Mm-hmm. Sure did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear about that.
I
Yeah,
done
that's the
fought with the
second
police
time in
before.
a
I didn't
month.
come out that bad. I told them
You know,
motherfuckers
the
take their
first
hands off of
time,
me, and they did. I'm gonna tell you the kind of
Ramirez
bad bitch I am. Them motherfuckers tried to put me in the car, and I locked my shit up. You ain't moving me, and they couldn't. I said, let me go. I'll get in the car on my own. I'm a bad bitch. We'll settle this down at the station. They sent 4 cars to the mountain to pick me up. But you done took your ass to the police station and got manhandled in the police station. You stupid. You stupid. You could at least square up and learn how to fight. You fought your husband.
beat me up. It's all on YouTube. Them with me hogtied, standing on my back with my face
Or which one was
pressed in the
this?
concrete, trying to break my
Oh, this was
glasses.
that one.
They cut my clothes off me, $100 bra off me.
Hundred. Hundred.
They
Now, didn't you take your $100 bra wearing musty ass up there in that same gray sweatsuit you always have on and start an argument with your husband at the barber shop and square up like y'all sumo wrestlers in $100 bra? I don't spend $100 on a bra. Like, they don't have to get that expensive. Mm-mm. I mean, some girls do. Some of y'all be toting some jugs, Lord. Shout outs to y'all. I could not wear a bra. You'd never know it. They sit nice. They sit nice, but that's because I ain't letting niggas tug on them for $40.
beat me up. I just started getting over the bruises and the scars from that. Now I got some fresh ones,
Fresh ones, because you done put yourself back in some shit.
courtesy of DeSoto Police.
Put yourself back in some shit.
You know,
She like, I don't give a fuck
huh?
about this. What's up?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
That
what were
was
you
the
about
worst
to
thing you could have
say?
said.
No, go ahead and say what you were saying.
Please do. I'm getting paid for this
Well,
conversation either
after
way.
2 beatings in 5.5 weeks,
She
hospitalization,
was
I was
just about to go to
drugged
lunch.
repeatedly, restrained, held down,
Girl, she ain't spending no $100 for no damn bra. She sleep in her car.
kangaroo court twice,
That is a misuse of funds.
and now I'm out on bond,
Girl,
and
I
I was
love
the
them too.
victim.
I'll buy a good old bra from Target in a heartbeat.
What that
This
sound
one,
like to you,
I got it from a smoke
Tasha?
shop. Like she got that knife from a smoke shop. This is pretty hot. It's a water bong.
And all because I've been trying to report that Bobby over there just crossed away
Shut
from
up,
you.
food chill.
Pleasant Run in Hampton. Legends Barbershop, Suite
Oh,
5.
it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Listen, so food chill is basically saying 100 isn't 100. 100 is like a lot of money. Am I right, food chill? She's saying the bra cost her more money than she's used to paying for bras. So it could have been like $14.99. It could have been like $50. It could have been like $70. And she gonna say $100 bra. Because it's more than she's used to spending on herself.
17.
Did
You
I get
know
that
where? Over
right?
there at the big lot.
Her titties are retroactive.
Bobby sells drugs out of that shop
Girl, you done Bobby's drugs. That's the same Bobby with a small penis,
every
your Uncle
day.
Bobby?
And I know he's been doing it every day for the past 4 years. Because he sold that weed
Because you've been
to my
smoking with him.
husband with that fentanyl in it that done took his mind.
And are you gonna talk about the fact that the day of the barbershop you had been smoking them fentanyl
And there's nothing
weeds?
but kids that hang up there at that shop, Tasha.
Girl. Tasha getting paid
Now,
too. She
I
don't
tried to
tell.
report to the police on this
Listen,
shop.
Tasha texting
25
Bobby right now. Nigga, you know this bitch on the phone talking about your shit? If you ain't got a bitch down at the city, you ain't
times.
nobody.
And instead, I just keep getting beat up and arrested. What that sound like to you, Tasha?
Y'all, these comments crazy. Yes. Oh
That
Lord. She
wasn't
been fucking with the
rhetorical.
wrong people. Ooh. Oh, did you hear the personality change? Wait a minute. Let me back
You
it
were
up for just
saying?
a minute so you can hear the transition.
Now, I tried to report to the police on this shop
Oh my god.
25 times. And instead, I
25.
just keep getting beat
Do you
up.
notice that whenever she calls a number out, it's always an odd number? Don't that never happen 50 times or 70 times or even 72? It'd be 207. She asked to use the phone at the police station 207 times and counted each one. And she said she not crazy. I'm sorry, I had to talk to my other device. She said she not crazy, but that's what she did. And now it's 25. There she blows. She's so full of shit.
And arrested.
Arrested.
What
Watch
that
it.
sound like to you, Tasha?
You want Tasha to co-sign your bullshit? Tasha don't make that much money. She might make $15 an hour.
That
And
wasn't rhetorical.
she's not getting paid to deal with this shit. Just let her change you to somebody else. She don't make enough
You were
money to deal with
saying?
shit.
I'm not privileged to that information.
Well, you're
Smart answer.
privileged to it now.
Tasha is media trained.
Bobby is selling weed with
Bobby
fentanyl
is her nigga. He
to the
fixes her
DeSoto
car.
community right across the street from
Do
you.
you realize Bobby paid for Tasha's son to do baseball last season? See, because the thing you gotta understand is these niggas be in the community. These niggas be sponsoring football teams and high schools and cheerleading squads and putting money into the rec centers. You think these niggas don't be in the community? That's why when you go to LA and they tell you check in, all they want you to do is hang out, show your face, don't be no stranger, don't act like you better than everybody else. Throw a little money to the Boys and Girls Club. If it's always kids up at the barbershop, don't you think that makes Bobby a pretty trustworthy person? Gerald said that was like his daddy. His uncle daddy. Bobby is connected, honey. Do you really think that if Bobby and DeSoto police are working together with the cartel, that Tasha's not getting her hair done once a week? That's DeSoto. Ain't nobody ever heard of DeSoto before today. Them all cousins. They really cousins. They all got the same goddamn grandmas and uncles and grandfathers. Not godfathers, real family. DeSoto is small. DeSoto is so small that I was able to talk to 3 police officers about this situation in one evening and get called back twice. They ain't that busy. 5 police officers came out and arrested her in the lobby. They ain't got that much going on. These niggas know each other. So you got to understand that Bobby, you talking to either Bobby's cousin or Bobby's bitch right now. I'm not privy to that information. Bobby, Tasha is on Signal right now. Bobby, did you know this bitch up here telling all your motherfucking business? What's her name, Tasha? She says she Jaguar. Oh, that's Gumba's wife. She always recording shit, so be careful what you say. Jaguar, you are not from the area. You are not from Dallas. You are not from DeSoto. You ain't even from Texas. Them motherfuckers have been friends, cousins, god cousins, sisters, uncles, playmates from childhood. Tasha know who Bobby is. You think Tasha don't know Bobby at the barber shop? You think Tasha don't get her son's haircut for free and Bobby don't be doing free haircuts for back to school? You are not, baby, you ain't got no pull. You're not a change agent. You're not even connected with the right people to cause change in a city you're not from. That's how unconnected you are. You blowing smoke. You barking up the wrong goddamn tree. You done gone to a place where you are a foreigner and you owe everybody their money and everybody is on your ass and you got the nerve to snitch on the one nigga that was taking care of you and your husband. The one nigga. It is not 4 a.m. I don't even know what time it is. It's only 9 o'clock here. I'm sorry. Listen, Tasha like Bobby, my cousin. See, one thing you got to learn, and I knew this because when I moved to China, and I lived in a very, very, very small town called Zhugao that nobody's heard of. There's like one thing on the whole internet about it. I learned all these motherfuckers related. Don't. My mother told me when I was really little, we moved from California to a small town called Grand Rapids, Michigan. She said, "Baby, all these motherfuckers related. Don't talk to nobody about nobody. If somebody gets you in a conversation with somebody, be like, 'Oh, for real, girl, for real.' Well, I pray y'all work that out, girl. That's why I ain't never got my ass whooped or caught up in no mess. Cause I stay out of it. But she gone in this small little town called DeSoto that most of us, of the 287 people in here, raise your hand if you ever heard of DeSoto before this situation. Give me a hands up or a hands down. Because I sure hadn't. And I ain't got no plans to visit. Shout outs to DeSoto and the DeSoto police. I really appreciate you for doing what you've done. For taking our conversations very seriously, for following up with them, for being professional, for never demeaning the importance of this situation, for following up, for doing what we asked you to do. We literally said, go out to that car and check the car that's in the driveway. Because there may be something there that's very important to the livelihood of another human being. And they came back and told us what kind of car it was and everything. And then they went ahead and got it impounded. But they did. They went out to the car. They could have just been like, "Oh, this is some nigga shit." And not one person I spoke to was black. Not one. There was one who was African, obviously, who I had to help understand that, shut up and do your job. But, whatever. He did answer the phone. There was another woman that I spoke to who I couldn't tell what her race was. And then there was a man I spoke to who had a Spanish sounding last name. And so I can literally say that we got taken care of. And that wasn't the only phone call that I've had with them. That was the most recent one. And they did everything they said they would do. Yeah, Texas is up the street. go to Houston for the weekend, right? But yeah, this woman has no roots in this community, and she's trying to blow up the spot. The safest place in the whole wide world is in that mental hospital. Oh, cause the streets are looking to get your ass. The safest place for you to be right now is right the fuck where you are. Because as soon as you hit them goddamn streets, you got people looking for you. Tasha told it. You put it on goddamn Instagram or whatever. You video. Listen, you can't go someplace where you don't have roots in the community and try to blow up the spot like that. Especially when you've been smoking the fentanyl weed.
What that sound like to you, Tasha?
Shut up. It sounds like I don't get
You
paid
know,
enough
it's
to
the
take this phone
citizens
call.
that pay the salaries of the city workers, including the police.
Actually,
My brother is a
that's
taxpayer.
not true. That's not true. That's not factual. The police are a private security company hired by the mayor. The police are paid by the mayor. It's a check he writes. They work for him or her. The police don't work for us. They don't work for the city. The police work directly for the mayor. They are his security company. They are a private company, just like the fire department. These are private companies. The paramedics, these are private companies. Our tax dollars do not pay the police. That's why they don't owe us anything. So stop expecting it. And whatever they do that is good, you got to call it out sometimes and be grateful for. Because what we don't understand is the police are a private company, just like the projects. Did you know that your city projects are owned by a private real estate company owned by the city? The projects, we know what projects are. The housing projects, the whatever your housing authority is that makes those projects available, that's a real estate company. It's a for-profit real estate company, and their job is to move property around to lower property values in certain areas for future projects. And if you get Section 8 or anything like that, you're being used by them to lower the property value in an area so that 25 years from now a condo can be built there at an affordable rate for them, but not for you. So anyway, back to the police. No, the police are not employees of the city. They are not. That's why the police chief and the mayor are always friends, because the mayor is the police chief's client. Just like my security works for me. No matter where we go or what we do or what happens, their allegiance is to me. If I'm wrong, they'll tell me later. Same situation. The police work for the mayor. I got a phone call the other day, and I'm careful about how I handle these things, because here the police call you and they raise money. And I don't want to say anything that's going to put me on anybody's notice, because so far I've had to tell a couple of police officers what it is. But, there have been some positive experiences I've had as well that have really helped unjade me, unscar me. I've allowed the positive experiences to happen where they happen. I got a phone call the other day, the police calling because they want to raise money for something. And I just started cracking up. I just started cracking up because I remember when the police got $75,000 to raise money for bulletproof vests. And I sat down with Jennifer Roberts, the mayor of Charlotte, and I said, "Can I get one? Like, can I?" And then the next, like a week later, Justin Carr was murdered by the police, and Keith Lamont Scott was murdered by the police. And I was like, well, shit, if you giving them bulletproof vests, can I get one? It's funny to me. But what I do know is at every single one of those meetings, when I saw the police and they said, she always met with me with the police. That was her security. She always met with the police. The mayor of Charlotte don't go nowhere without a police officer somewhere nearby because that's her personal, her, wherever whoever your mayor is, the police are their personal security. Their job is to keep the peace for the mayor. That's his squad, her squad. So what Jaguar just said was not true as far as that's concerned. As far as the police is concerned. I forget who else she talked about. I just had to call that out.
Citizen, he live over there on Lakeview. Been a tax-paying citizen for 17
She's
years.
uneducated when it
My
comes to
auntie live over
government.
there.
What kind of activist doesn't
Off
know
of
the role of the police in the city and who pays them and who they work for? Bitch, what? Why would we ever take a person seriously who doesn't even know that? That's what I mean. It's our job to separate the real from the fucking fake. Who would ever allow that person to stand before you and tell you anything about P. Diddy? Bitch, you don't even know the police don't work for you.
Wintergreen. My cousin live off. I mean, I could talk about the people that I love here
Thank you. That
who pay
right there.
taxes
That comment right there. We are
for
not
the cops to
people.
protect their community, not facilitate a criminal, a convicted criminal who runs a drug den that poses as a barbershop. Do you know that the phone number that he has online when you Google the shop don't even belong to the shop? It belongs to a former barber that used to work there. He quit 2 years ago.
She's just talking shit. And
Ain't
when
that
she
false advertisement?
no, it's not. Plenty of people have different phone number listed as their business number. Call any massage parlor here in where I live. Call them. You ain't gonna get them motherfuckers on the phone. All them phone numbers fake. And I didn't mean to blow up the spot. I'm just saying. It happens all the time. And then somebody calls you back and says, "Oh, did you just call such and such number?" Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wanted to book an hour. Okay. It's not illegal. It's not false advertising. Your phone number is not advertising. You're not advertising a product. It's your fucking contact information. Fuck stupid. I mean, the reason why we're here is to break this shit down. I get real meticulous. I get real critical because this is not a no judgment zone.
When you start putting false information on Google
No,
for a public business
no,
that is registered and bonded in the
no,
city of DeSoto,
no.
am I wrong?
Just like you have a website that's been defunct since 2000, a business that's been defunct since 2019, but you say you own a business. Just like you say you have a channel and a station and a network, but you don't. You have a streaming website that can stream onto Roku just like I'm streaming onto YouTube right now from StreamYard. I could stream onto any platform. I could stream onto Roku right now. I could stream onto wherever. It's just a connection. It's a fucking link. It's a link. I mean, is that false advertisement for you to go around saying you have a TV station and a network and a channel and you don't? You don't even have a camera. You're using the computer your husband stole. He's probably got 4 gigabytes of memory and an old NIC card because he stole that computer back in 2016. If you still using the same, if it ain't a Mac, now you know Macs will last forever. But if you using a PC from 2016 and it ain't no Asus or IBM, you stupid. Or HP because HP does a great job too. But you know that wasn't that shit. That nigga had an E machine, a 2016 E machine, and you had a network. You know what I'm saying? She ain't proven shit. And see, I hate to talk bad about black people, but sometimes we have to because that's what we're here for. Excuse me. Black people have a bad habit of following things without any evidence, and that's why I try to come to you with something. I'm just different, you know. I have a broadcast degree, and I told you part of that means I can't just come to you and just blah 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 blah, blah. I gotta have something to back it up, and that's what this video is. This video is something to back up what I'm saying, you know. But we will vote for a president and never demand anything. We'll vote for a politician and never meet with that politician in private and say, well, in order for us as a people to vote for you, or we don't tell Al Sharpton, we don't tell nobody. We don't tell any of our representatives, in order for you to commit to this candidate on our behalf, these are our demands. Tangible demands. We don't do that. So we good with gossip. And there was a time, remember back in the day when gossip was considered a sin? Now it's making money and that's great for whatever, but we don't actually we don't research. That's why we were able to see that lie spread about Tina Knowles saying that she was worried about Jay-Z drugging Beyonce, and we broke that shit down last week and all this week and saw that she never ever expressed anything close to that sentiment. As a matter of fact, she was saying she was disheartened by the fact that black men are stereotyped and stigmatized in such a way as uneducated ghetto gangster rappers, and not realizing that her son-in-law was a fucking CEO, a boss, a player, a billionaire. They just push it out there. And that's what I mean when I say this is not a no judgment zone. We're here to separate the real from the fake. So I don't have an opportunity to come before you and just talk, because part of my job in this as a member of the breakdown crew is to be the nigga in the room to ask questions. Because you remember when we were little kids and we asked, like, well, how do you know God is real? Raise your hand if you ever asked that question coming up in the black church. How do you know God is real? And somebody was like, oh, we don't question God. Girl, I grew up in a house where we couldn't even question my daddy because he was a pastor. So that made him like beyond, The last conversation I had with Terrell Murphy, who was my pastor at New Birth, he told me and my husband he was the head of our house because the Bible says so. And my husband said, what scripture is that, pastor? And he was like, the one that say, the head of the church is the God. And he said, well, because I have a master's degree in church planting. So if you married to me, you got a master's degree in church planting too. And my husband at the time said, well, I believe that scripture specifically says, and I don't agree or abide by this for the record, but the head of woman is man, the head of man is Christ, and the head of Christ is God. Like, the word pastor isn't even in that scripture. So where do you come in, bishop, pastor, apostle, first chief, president, prelate? And he basically, he was like, well, you right. You got to call the real from the fake. And the only way to do that is with evidence. And we as a people have allowed, we did real good with this Jaguar Wright thing because we let R. Kelly go around for decades. Decades. Now, Bill Cosby kind of threw us. We didn't know none of that shit was happening. That shit caught us off guard. Like them two niggas that was driving through the city shooting people in them vans about 10 years ago. We was like, that was some niggas. Some things catch us off guard. We don't see them coming. But we did good with this Jaguar Wright thing because we let R. Kelly go for way too long until he had to get got somebody else. And I don't have an opportunity. I'm not put in a position to just come before you guys and talk without having something to talk about, because my job is to activate our think button. That's why we here on a Saturday night. You know how many things want our attention on a Saturday night? And I appreciate y'all for being here because y'all could be anywhere. It's a whole lot of hot channels, a whole lot of hot places you could be. And I really appreciate you bringing your brains here. I was hoping somebody could join me up here so I didn't have to think so hard. But I got it. Let's go. I'll do the breakdown. Yeah,
Please tell me if I'm wrong.
we celebrating another night of Jaguar being under control of our
That's right.
cell.
I can take any information and have someone call you back regarding your concerns.
You don't have to have someone call me back about my concerns. I'm telling you that where you work right now on Pleasant Run Road is less than a quarter mile away from where they're selling weed with fentanyl in it to this community.
Know that?
I'm giving you information.
She got the shop in her GPS right now.
Question is, what you gonna do with it?
Nothing, bitch.
Or are y'all just gonna keep letting me get beat up and arrested falsely and hospitalized and drugged
That's what we
so that they can cover the fact that
Yep.
Bobby is pushing drugs for the Jimenez cartel.
We got
And
to
you
talk
know
about
what they
that.
did to that little girl over there in Lancaster. And y'all let somebody invite that up here?
Up here. Fuck you, Jaguar.
Don't he got to pay his taxes to the city for his business? How does he pay his taxes? There's never no one in there getting haircuts.
Y'all, you think this woman owns a business? She owns a business. Hold on one second. Let me let y'all watch this. Let me do something
And
real
when
quick.
you call the number on Google, it goes to somebody that hasn't worked there in 2 years. Now, I don't know, Tasha.
Oh
Don't
gosh.
that sound just a
No,
little?
no,
Something ain't right in the buttermilk with that.
no. Sound fine to me.
How he get customers? Don't nobody call there.
It sound all right to
How's he
me.
paying his taxes for his business?
To the city.
How's he still licensed? How's he paying it? He ain't cutting no hair. They sit out there and smoke weed with children present while the cops sit in that parking lot.
No.
And y'all ain't nothing but less than a quarter mile away. And you telling me y'all don't know?
No, businesses in DeSoto don't pay taxes to the city. They don't. Nope. It's not a thing. He's not required to pay taxes to the city. Now you own a business, right? I own a business. That's how I knew where to look. She do sound creepy. But it's crazy because I want to do a side by side of the she is demonic and she's working for us right now and we appreciate her being obedient. Because one thing you know about a demon is not a boss. A demon is not a boss. A demon is a worker. And Jaguar Wright is that loud siren that says, "Y'all don't do that shit. The internet ain't putting up with that shit no more. Black YouTube ain't putting up with that shit no more. Black Instagram, black Twitter is not putting up with this shit no more. You can't be trotting people out in public thinking you gonna traffic them. For those of y'all who thought y'all was gonna have somebody going from platform to platform, because I guarantee you, Krishan get paid. She made sure of that. She might make an ass of herself, but she at least gets paid. She gets paid in her own name, not somebody else getting paid giving it to her. Even though I do think that her and Blueface have a pimp like relationship, especially the way she calls him daddy and the things that we broke that down. Y'all go back and watch those videos. I won't go through that again. But demons work for us. She's doing exactly what we need them to do. The thing about people like Jaguar is there's a whole slew of motherfuckers that are waiting to do what Jaguar was going to do. Some of us may have been the ones. I told you these are cautionary tales. I could have been a self-righteous bitch in church saying the wrong things over the pulpit. It happened to be Kim Burrell. I could have been a schemy, skimy pastor who did all kind of shit and stole money from people. It happened to be Lamar Whitehead. I could have been a person who couldn't control my vibrato and chose to wear a diaper to a police station and start a fight. It happened to be Jaguar Wright. This could have been any of us. And there's a whole slew that was waiting to come forward, just like them roaches. But because we stamped this bitch out, they know, oh, that ain't the way. Because Jaguar Wright got a whole network of women. They in here. They scallywags too. That's why they protect her the way they do. Because they wear diapers every day too. They scam and scheme too. They gather weak men too. And then try to tell them what to do too. She got a whole coven of lame bitches that live off of us. I know who the fuck I'm talking about. We the opposite, hoe. See, because the media thinks all black women are the same. But I recognize classes among our race. I've talked about it before. I've talked about classes. And Jaguar Wright is of a low life class. She's chosen not to invest in her education. She's chosen not to invest in her vocation. She's chosen not to invest in her best life, in her better self. Everything she's gotten, she's chosen to lie, scheme, and scam. And it's my job as a person who's chosen not to live that way to call it what the fuck it is, because some of us work really hard for the little bit we got. And she's got a louder voice than us. So we can't have nobody out there looking like that speaking for us. Not in diapers, bitch.
Y'all don't know Bobby?
Bobby. That's your Uncle Bobby with the
Don't he
little
gotta
dick,
come
right?
over there to City Hall to handle his affairs as a public business owner?
And that's the confusion we've
With
given
a
her,
phone number
James.
that don't even belong to this shop.
I'm gonna speak very plainly because I'm ambiguous about her punishment. But I've been a little bit clear. Part of Jaguar Wright's, because Jaguar is a persona, okay? Jacqueline ain't shit either, but Jacqueline ain't shit either. But Jaguar has decided to take over, okay? See, because at some point Beyonce had to set Sasha Fierce down so she could be a wife and a mother, but Jaguar has decided to allow her to take over. Just like Cynthia decided to let Lil Mo take over because she thought it was gonna make her famous, and it really just made her look like a fool with a big head and a little body. I love you, Lil Mo, but you got a lot of growing up to do, and you need to set Lil Mo down and develop Cynthia. Because until you get Cynthia straight, don't nobody give a fuck about Lil Mo. That's why you don't sell out a stage, and you got to do a medley. Because nobody gonna stay for a whole concert. Because your personality and your goddamn business ethic and your work ethic is trash. And you haven't developed yourself enough to know that you don't have to marry every man you want to fuck. Anyway, see, the punishment that we've given Jaguar includes her thinking that all of this is fine. Because we gave her an opportunity. She's had opportunity after opportunity to put her pride down. Hey, Miss Naders, I've been waiting for you. She's had opportunity after opportunity to put her pride down and just say, okay, let me be not famous for a little bit. Let me take the humbling that came with my failed career. If you're in a career and you've never failed, you're not in a career. I fail all the time. All the time. I make investments that fail. I make decisions that fail. I take risks that fail. I make decisions that fail. I have conversations that fail. I have had entire career endeavors that went to shit, and I had to go do something different and reinvent myself. If you watch this channel, you'll see that's happened over and over again, and I ain't got paid for none of it. It's just been the evolution of what it is. Trial and fucking error. But when your pride is so caught up in your image and your what's the word? Thank you, Daddy. Identity. Because thank you. But see, I love my parents because my mom and daddy are honest now that they dead. And my father just reminded me. I remember once I was at City Hall. We didn't get arrested when we went there. My daddy was a pastor. He was registering somebody's marriage license because that has to happen after the wedding, Jacqueline. The officiant has to take it to the city hall and actually register it. That's what makes a marriage legal, not just a license. Jacqueline. I wish my daddy didn't do that for my marriage, but he did. He did it the right way. But we were downtown, and my daddy used to always run into other pastors in the city downtown because, they was all doing their business. All weekend, pastors did weddings. So on Monday, all the pastors were at City Hall putting their papers in the City Hall like they were supposed to. And I was with my daddy, hanging out. And he ran into a pastor, and the questions were always, you never believe these pastors don't give a fuck about you. When I tell you these pastors don't give a fuck about you, all they care about is money and people, numbers. Y'all are nothing to them. And it was always the same conversations. Pastor, how many you got? How many you got? How many you got? And my daddy would always inflate the numbers. Because it was more important to him to lie and say he had more people in his church than really develop himself and get developed as a pastor in order to build a ministry that had enough people he could live off of, since that was so important. And that's what's happened here. She's never really taken accountability for the failures in her career. I mean, I believe that it was, and by saying I believe, what I mean is allegedly. I believe that there was a man that she was dating, who she moved in with him, and he was going to make her career. Because you got to have a man. You can't be in that business without a nigga. And he was going to make her career, but then she started fucking somebody else on the side, so he put her out the house. And that's how she ended up back home. She did that, I believe. I believe she had a husband who was willing to invest in her career, and then he found out she was sleeping with another nigga. What's he supposed to do? Keep investing? Yeah, demons are workers. They're like feet on a stool. DeSoto right around the corner in Duncanville. And you know the Entria. All them niggas know each other. She talk about niggas that all know each other. Of course she was messy. She don't have no personality. She don't have no personality. And from what my eyelash lady, I'm not representing her very well right now, but from what Erica told me, in Philly, everybody got a game. Everybody got a scheme. If you don't want a game or scheme, you got to get out of Philly. Because it's almost impossible to be there. It's an expensive place to live. It's cutthroat. It's cold. So if you're gonna live there, you gotta have it. I mean, there's certain area codes I know. I can't speak publicly, but there's certain area codes in the country. I know if I see them area codes on my ID, okay. And we have allowed her ego to take over her to the point where she thinks she's right, and we're enjoying.
On the website.
We gave her a chance to do it the right way.
What that sound like to you, Tasha? Black woman.
Did y'all hear that?
My African American Nubian sister. What that sound like
Shut up.
to you?
Last week it was Black History Month on March 1st.
My lawyer will be in touch.
Poke stop. Your lawyer.
Don't worry about calling me back.
Well, if your lawyer is going to be in touch, why would I've never? I was telling, I want to say it was Miss Naders. I got 4 court cases happening right now. I highly trust my attorneys. Like, I love attorneys. I wanted to be one, but who wants to work that hard? Shout outs to the attorneys. Thank you for your service. But I've got four law offices working on different cases for me right now, and I don't do nothing. I don't have to call them and tell them my lawyer's going to call them, because my lawyer's going to call them. My job is to sign the necessary documents, to give my attorneys the permission that they need to do whatever it is they need to do, and pay them when they need to be paid. But there's no way Paul Blocker is your attorney and he works for the DA's office and that's your attorney. Oh, don't make me look this nigga up. She said Paul Blocker, right? Oh, Lord. This poor woman. Oh, shit. Where did she say he was? She said he was the State Bar of Texas. You know, when Benjamin Crump, no, was it Benjamin Crump? Who was it that was representing Eric 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 Okay, let me tell you what I'm talking about. The dude that shot Nipsey was represented by an attorney. And maybe I'm not remembering his name because I'm not supposed to. That's possible. But we had to let him know that if he continued to represent that man, his family was going to suffer. Because you can't represent the man who killed Nipsey Hussle and get away with it. So he recused himself. Paul Blocker, State Bar of Texas. Oh, Lord, girl. Why you put this man's name in this shit? He's a public fucking defense. That was my second guess. That's not your attorney. That's my attorney. I'm paying Paul Blocker to represent you. Shauna is paying Paul Blocker to represent you. Who was that? That's in Duncanville is paying Paul Blocker to represent you. Paul Blocker is not your attorney. That's everybody's attorney. Paul Blocker is for the streets. He's a public defender. He is not your attorney. They might have made you pay $135. And I guarantee you, you ain't never met with him. You don't know where his office is, and I bet you don't know his phone number. Let me make sure y'all can see that. Just in case you need to. We're not going to sit here and talk like you got this attorney that you've retained and are paying. Sorry. This is a damn public defender, honey. Shouts to the public defenders. I mean, they be having mad cases from what I hear. I've never had one. I've never had one. Look, Miss T Lady, your wow is so appropriate still. Thank you for letting me still keep it up there. Listen, Paul Blocker is your attorney, my attorney, her attorney, their attorney. Girl, I've been trying not to do this. I've been trying not to do the research on this Paul Blocker. I was like, I'm just going to let that one live. I said, I'm just going to let that one live. I'm not going to bother that one. I'm going to go ahead and let that one live. When do the lies stop? Like, at what point do you say, I have a public defender who I'm real cool with, and he might represent me on other cases too, if he ever stops being a public defender and opens his own private practice or joins somebody else's? Because that's how that works. I was trying not to say his name. Thank you. He also represented, who was that he also represented? Yeah, his family started, it started looking like his family, I gotta say this in the right way. His family wasn't safe as long as he was representing Eric Holder. And we made sure he knew that. It was important as a community that we made sure he knew that. And he recused himself. Because how dare you? Because we knew the police were paying. I mean, how Eric Holder able to retain Chris Darden? Wasn't Chris Darden part of the OJ trial? Yeah. He represented I forget. But y'all know the LAPD paid Chris Darden to represent that boy so that we wouldn't get mad. And then when grandma started coughing funny, he knew to set his ass down. Who bad and bougie? Lord, Paul Blocker. Girl, your attorney? Paul Blocker? I'm going to have to take him to lunch, spill some tea. Make sure he know who he fucking with. You like
I'll just have him call you.
how you put a potato in the bottom of a pot of chitlins, and even though it still look like a potato, when you put your mouth in that joint, you know what the fuck just happened? That's Jaguar Wright. She is the shitty potato at the bottom of a pot of chitlins. And we will
Okay?
rise to the top and become a potato amongst potatoes.
Yes, ma'am.
God help y'all. This next election for you is going to be hell.
That girl don't, cause she's still gonna have a job.
Motherfucker.
She worked for a temp agency.
Now that was that call. Listen to this one.
She's harassing.
Hello?
Do you realize how she
Yes.
obeyed
I'm
us?
sorry.
We
My
told
name
her
is
we were like Jaguar. Because we call her by her name when we need her to do what we need her to do. We said Jaguar. Jaguar. Call him again. No. Call him again.
Jacqueline Wright. I was unlawfully
Did she
detained
just
earlier
introduce
this year.
herself by 2 different names, y'all? On that last call, did she not say Jaguar? This bitch has lost her tutors.
week. And the police, when
Shitty
I
potato.
posted bond,
I like your potatoes.
kept my phone, my
They're not
Galaxy Note 10. They kept my gold hunting knife with black handle. And they kept my knuckles that I use.
I guarantee you, me and Jaguar got these from the same place. Her knife and my bong.
When I break down my herbs. I was making product that day when I came through.
What the fuck is she talking about, y'all?
Now, they kept all of these things unlawfully. They said they were keeping my phone for evidence, but the evidence that they were looking for wasn't in the phone.
I love that picture.
And I know because I went and I checked my account. And unfortunately for them, I guess they don't know Instagram so well. When they went into my phone, when they finally broke in through the code, they went live on my page.
Okay, so they know how to break in your phone. But Gumba locked you out your own phone and you said the police were stupid. Sounded like doggone Jack Nicholson on the phone. I'm not going to imitate it because I'm not going to call that shit up. I'm going to leave it right where it was. It's in the 2D and it will stay there, trapped back there in the past. Shout outs to you if you know what I just said. We gonna leave that shit right where it was. I'm not going to imitate it and revive it into this present time. What I will say is you called the police stupid. You didn't even know how to get in your phone. My neighbor, Mr. Roger, passed away, and he told me I could only have his Apple iPhone 11 over his dead body. So when he died, I went in his apartment and I took it. Because that's my nigga. That's my nigga. Listen, his sister gave it to me. She gave me a whole bunch of his stuff. And I cannot figure out how to get in this man's phone to save my life. The police know how. How can I call them stupid? If they know how to do something I don't know how to do. You know this was some bullshit. Grace Jones loves Beyonce, so don't play. Okay? Grace Jones loves Beyonce. She's picked Team Bay. So there's that. Grace Jones would kick you in your nuts, Jaguar Wright.
And it was screen recorded by over 500
Move
blogs.
out the way. What she say?
Now I'm just curious.
How many times can I
Why
say?
would DeSoto
Hey,
police need to go live on
you
my
come too
Instagram
far,
account?
like the rest say. That's my shit.
I can't speak for that. I don't know what occurred.
You do realize,
You know,
every day y'all hold my
Jaguar
property
had the opportunity
unlawfully
to repent. She missed that. It's over.
is another
We turned her over to a
$500,000 that I'm going
reprobate
to ask
mind.
for.
Did they hang up on
Okay?
her? Oh, that's a
I'm
beat. That might be
suing you
that might
people,
be Goomba
but I
BBN
want my property.
harassing her. You know what? This is interesting because this is the same exact video when she called the crisis hotline to my I'm Jacqueline Wright Johnson and I'm somewhere in a mobile home and there's a nigger who's chasing me, a big black nigger, and he's coming after me and I don't know what to do with myself, and I'm thinking about committing homicide on you right now. That's the same video. I mean, we did a lot of work on this 59-minute video. We got this bitch to call the police station, the mayor's office, and the crisis hotline. We did that shit. Shout outs to you. We did that shit. Do you hear me? We got this bitch to incriminate herself in such a tight knit way, nobody even had to do any research. She did all this shit sitting from the same blanket in one video. She made it easy for them. Because we made a decision a while ago. I told you demons work for us. So we made a decision a long time ago that the police were going to have to work for us. After all, we do pay you. You know what I'm saying? 0 to 7,000. She did all this. We got her to really that's why the reason I'm celebrating, because I try to feel bad for people, but I've always had a hard time feeling bad for people. Listen, I will curse a motherfucker and be like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that." So anyway, I listen, look at all the stuff y'all got. See, and the thing is, like, because not all of us, but the right people have been paying her attention, she go live doing this shit. She videotapes this shit. People do this shit all day from their homes and never videotape it. Just harass the police all day. Just harass the mayor all day. Just harass the crisis hotline. People do this shit just like she's doing it and never videotape it. Do you realize how awesome it was that y'all got her to videotape it? Trying to be the victim and the villain at the same time. I be trying to get that key right every time I sing it. She had to practice that too, because Beyonce's voice is not that low naturally. She's been doing a good job expanding her range. We don't reward bad behavior. We do not. We call shit what the fuck it is. Because the thing is, I live in a world where I'm held accountable to my behavior. I've been in situations where I've been like, but such and such is allowed to say anything and nobody gets mad. But when I say it, I'm rubbing you the wrong way. God damn. We've had to do so much development and changing and soothing. This right here is not my normal everyday tease. Man, I'm so chill and cool and groovy in the streets. Oh, no worries. I have to be. Because when it's time to come out, then it's time to come out. Y'all give me an opportunity to come out. I was trying to bring y'all up here tonight, but y'all want to watch me show out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to give you what you came for. Was he for OJ Simpson or against Miss T Lady? You always reap what you sow, and your own sins will punish you. And you got to understand, at some point you make a decision about what you are going to do in this life, who you're going to be, how you going to roll. Are you going to continue to take the issues of the past and bring them into the present to continue these karmic cycles? I encourage you to go listen to her song What If, and it will reveal so much, because she's still in that same fucking relationship, and it's about to be a new nigga. She thought it was gonna be a new bitch, but Angela's boring in bed. Angela be getting deep and want to talk spiritual, and Jaguar just want to fuck, allegedly. Not just a troll. Oh, you were at that conversation that was the night we met. Miss Naders, were you at that conversation when I called that nigga a troll because he came in the chat that one night about how come African Americans don't speak to Africans? And I was like, you fucking troll, quit drinking that Chinese vodka and take your ass to bed. And they had a whole meeting about it. And I came to the meeting to make friends. And I met Miss Naders. Remember that night, girl? Was that that night? Was that that night? Were you there that night? Or do you know were you there though? Cause I know it was Thanksgiving when you had to keep me from jumping on the other nigga. Good Lord, man, I had to fight them Africans all the time. But anyway, this man used this. What they would do is they would come in our chat late at night. We had these black chats in China, and sometimes the Africans, shout outs to the Africans, but they would start arguments in our chat. They do it now on YouTube. I don't know if you notice a lot of these videos where you see white people get put in their place and somebody says something on TikTok and all these people got at them. These channels are run by Africans, and Africans never speak up for us ever. They never ever, and I'm just gonna say what I'm gonna say because I own the rooms in this house. The Africans never speak up for themselves. They let white people treat them like shit, but they'll start an argument with us and have us fight white people because they know who we are as black Americans. We don't take no shit. So shout outs to you if you African, but it is what the fuck it is. They don't stand up to black people, to white people. Africans have a bad habit of making the world think all black people are docile. I've been in situations where they thought that because I was black, I was supposed to behave differently. Now, I don't even know if I'm black. My mama's family's from LA. My daddy's family's from Missouri. We can't trace nothing outside of that. You tell me what the fuck I am. But I'm damn sure not gonna lay down and let you treat me crazy. And so these Africans oftentimes would come in our chat and they would start arguments and then sit back and watch while they drank vodka and baijiu. And so I called this nigga a troll because my question was, if he was like, well, why am I at the club and these black American girls don't want to talk to me? And I'm like, because you musty. Because your shoes are too tight. Because your pants are too tight. Because after the dick, you ain't got no conversation. And how do you know they black American anyway if they ain't spoke to you? How you know they're not from the UK? How you know they're not from Jamaica? How you know they're not from other parts of Africa or America or